Seth Freakin Rollins did an interview with Inside the Ropes while he was over in Australia, and he was asked about The Rock in the WWE making his grand return. And though I do think there is a little bit of a work here, obviously, Seth's going to be in character. He does not bite his tongue about his thoughts on The Rock being back in WWE.
I'm not 14 years old anymore. I'm 38 years old. I'm a full-grown man. I'm the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And so, yeah, he's going to open his mouth. He's going to run his mouth. He's going to say the same crap he's been saying for the last 2 decades because he can't come up with any new material. But the bottom line is, and I've said it before, he's an afterthought. This is our story. It's our era. We built the last decade of WWE, this Elimination Chamber show, WrestleMania, the biggest ever. We built it without him. He's been gone doing his own thing, and I'm not taking nothing away from him. He laid the groundwork for it, but we built it, man. We built the walls. We built the roof. We've got this thing sorted. So he can come in and he can have a little tea, but we're going to shoo him on the way out. So happy to have him, happier to see him go.
Many people, myself included, would consider you one of the most elite, best workers in the world today. Could The Rock go with you today?
Look, he's a specimen. He is a specimen. But he hasn't had a match in a decade. John Cena, 2 times at WrestleMania. Had a couple of stuff, little tag matches and some appearances here and there. But look, I'm on a different level right now. I am in my prime. I am operating at a level so high above any level he's ever operated at. He could not lace my boots in the best years of his career, let alone right now. Just saying.
So again, I do think there's a little bit of a work going on here. Obviously, Seth Rollins is a company man. He's not just going to go off and work his own angle or anything like that. And he is currently tangentially connected to the Rock storyline in WWE on television currently. But Rollins has been doing this a lot lately. He's kind of reached a point in his career where he's able to speak his mind in these interviews and not really have to worry about biting his tongue. And though he does these interviews in character, so you always have to take it with a grain of salt. And I'll always say that we never know when we're fully being worked or when it's a shoot or when it's a mix of both a lot of times with these guys. And that's how I like it, to be frank. That's what makes the best storylines. But Rollins has been pretty vocal, starting with talking about Punk before he came back, but he hasn't held back since Punk's been back. He's still out there burying Punk and calling him a cancer and talking about how much he hates him and that sort of thing. But to go out and talk about The Rock like this, the board member, the new daddy of the company, so to speak, now that Vince is gone, I don't know, man. Maybe he's working an angle. That could be. It seems to be a lot of negativity around The Rock being back in the locker room, which I think has to do with him trying to kind of push himself into the main event of WrestleMania. I still, look, this whole thing has been far too convoluted, too much of a mess. Too much this way, then that way, then this way, then that way. And, we meant to do it the whole time. And, yeah, fuck off with that. You didn't. Somewhere along the way, they switched up their plans because the fans resented the fact that The Rock was going to just kind of squeeze his way into this WrestleMania main event thing. And I think that probably pissed off the wrestlers, too. I think they saw The Rock come in and just kind of move Cody aside. I think the wrestlers, the current locker room, took great offense to that. They've been taking great offense. This goes back to when Cena was facing off with The Rock, and they had their infamous promo where Cena kind of buried The Rock there. People don't like when wrestlers go away and then come back. And it's not that they go away and they come back. It's that they come back and they try to get into the main event picture. And there was definitely a time, especially in that time, back when Cena and Rock were having their little feud, where there wasn't a lot of main eventers to go around. And maybe it was a good idea, and they started bringing, that's where Brock started coming back around. And The Undertaker was coming back around. And let's fucking dust off this guy and that guy. And let's try to just pull out stars for our big matches at WrestleMania, Stone Cold, because we can't do it on our own. But now is a time that they can do it on their own. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, it was the story that it was. The story tells itself. It's not being. It's the story because it makes the most sense, especially after last year with Cody losing. Like, if you just push Cody off to the side now, that's why the fans rejected it, because it's Cody's time. It's not that the fans don't want to see Rock and Roman. We've all wanted to see that match, but now is not the time for that match. And The Rock trying to push his way into it is what got him on the wrong side of the fans. And it's what got him on the wrong side of the wrestlers as well. And that's why they're shooting on him like this. And I do think this is more shoot than work, if you will. And maybe I'm a mark, and that's fine. That's why I'm here, right? That's why we're all here. Work me. I'm a wrestling fan. Entertain me, please. Get me caught up in my disbelief. I would love it. But these words ring true, whether it's a work or not. And I think that's where the best works, where the best storylines come from. That's where the most compelling television happens in professional wrestling, is when it's real and when that real shit gets brought up on TV in a storyline form. Those are always the best ones. And I think this is one of those real life situations. There's a ton of resentment on The Rock right now. But there's also the uncertainty, because we don't know where The Rock's going to land, as far as with TKO now being the new owners of WWE, Ari Emanuel calling the shots, Vince McMahon gone completely. We still don't know if Triple H is going to end up getting dragged down in this mess with Vince McMahon. You know, he is potentially involved with this still. So we could be looking at a future where The Rock is the guy in WWE. It's The Rock is the boss. He's the figurehead. You know, that could very well be why he was brought in, to be honest with you. Vince is on his way out. We need a public figurehead of the WWE. Who better than The Rock, in Ari Emanuel's opinion and Nick Khan's opinion, who both worked with The Rock for a number of years. Friends with The Rock, do business with The Rock. It makes sense for them to put The Rock in that position. And then now we're hearing rumors that his writer, the guy who just wrote the book,
A few moments later.
Brian Gewirtz. That's what it is. Brian Gewirtz. See, you guys don't understand when you're looking at I knew who Brian Gewirtz was. I got his fucking book. I did a book review on him. But when you're looking at the camera and you're trying to think of stuff on the spot, off the top of your head, sometimes you blank out like that. So Brian Gewirtz, he's got Brian Gewirtz on board, on deck, if you will, to slide right into the creative position should anything happen to Triple H. I think there's a lot of animosity on The Rock right now from both the fans and the locker room. And he's trying to make good on that. You know, they backpedaled, they changed direction, they're going with Cody. Now Cody's challenging The Rock, Rock's a heel. All of this is to try to placate the fans that raised a big stink about this. But what are they doing to placate the locker room? And what does the locker room truly think and feel about The Rock kind of coming in? And look, what more are we going to see? You know, who knows what The Rock is doing backstage? He tried to muscle his way into the main event of WrestleMania. Is he trying to throw his weight around backstage as well? Is there really something there with Triple H and creative? Perhaps. Maybe it's all just storyline, but this is new still, with Ari Emanuel being the owner, essentially being in charge of WWE. He's just now gotten a hold of this. What changes, what big overall sweeping changes will be made to the company? You know, he's been pretty hands-off with the UFC, so that leads me to believe he'd be pretty hands-off with WWE as well. But if The Rock has eyes on weaseling his way into a creative position or a controlling position of WWE where he's the new Vince McMahon of sorts. I don't think Ari or Nick Khan are really going to argue with that, especially if Triple H, who's the only now remaining guy from the old regime that could challenge that, if Triple H ends up going down with this whole Vince McMahon scandal, we could end up seeing a completely different WWE where The Rock and Brian Gewirtz are the Vince McMahon and the creative minds behind this product. And that's not to say that would be bad. Brian Gewirtz is a talented guy. He's behind a lot of the funnier storylines that you remember from the Attitude Era. He's a smart motherfucker. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He understands the business. But I like Triple H, and I kind of want Triple H to stick around. But we'll see how all of this plays out. And let's not forget that Triple H and The Rock, there's no love lost between these two as it was. They didn't get along when they were peers backstage. And now all of a sudden, if there's power dynamics at play in any direction here, I can't imagine that those old feelings wouldn't creep their way back up a little bit. Now, I get people grow, people change. You know, they're not going to hate each other forever, especially because now they're not competing with each other anymore. You know, part of it was they were competing for a top spot. They were competing for top star money and all of that back in the day. But now they're not. But they could be competing for something more, control of the WWE itself. But I'll leave it there. It's interesting to hear Seth Rollins say these kind of things out loud about The Rock. Certainly, it could all just be in character, part of the storyline. But it doesn't sound like it is, does it? And I get the feeling that there's more resentment towards The Rock than I think is publicly out there right now. But we'll see how it all plays out. And that's just me. It's just one man's opinion. That's just what I'm observing and what I get from hearing people talk about the situation. So, but let me know your thoughts, especially if you have a different opinion of it. I'd love to know your take. Let me know your thoughts in those comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked what you watched. Peace, love, and pizza. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next.
Oh yeah, thanks for checking out the video here. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah. And you can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Oh yeah. Dig it.